What's up, guys? It's almost midnight. I'm already in my freaking PJs, so the Trespasser trailer. But let me just say, oh my god, that trailer was so good. I've watched it like, I don't even know, like 50 times already. It's so good. Of course, crazy me is already coming up with a theory. But you know what? I feel kind of I feel pretty like a bit left behind because that sounds so sad. I feel left behind. I feel like I'm not caught up because I'm not. And I made the decision this morning. I was like, you know what? After I saw the trailer, because it was leaked, and I didn't know it was leaked when I saw it because I got the link. Someone was like, "Oh my god, look at the Dragon Age Inquisition, the new DLC," and I was like, "Oh, click right." And I was like, "Why does it have Spanish subtitles?" And I'm like, "What?" I was like, where's the official one?" So I didn't realize it was leaked until after I saw it, and I was like, "Okay, well, out of respect, I'm not gonna talk about it until it's officially announced." And they officially announced it at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time at PAX at a really cool panel. It was a panel with Mike Laidlaw, Melanie Fleming, Matt Rhodes, and Matt Goldman. So a lot of the art team and stuff, and they were talking about concept art and stuff like that. And it was such a funny panel. It was so good. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go watch the VOD. I'm sure it's on the PAX Twitch VOD. But they were talking about other stuff, and they finally showed the trailer officially at the end of the panel. But it was so funny because Mike Laidlaw was like teasing everyone the whole time, and he was like, "Okay, now for everything you guys have been waiting for," because it had been leaked, right? So everyone knew that the trailer was coming. But he's like, "Now it's the moment." And he's like, "Here is the wardrobe." But dude, seriously, the wardrobe looks amazing. I was like, everyone went crazy anyways. Like, that was so good. I mean, you no more, thank god, no more freaking beige pajamas in Skyhold. You have now, I think, like Mike Laidlaw said, that you have I think a dozen or over a dozen new outfits that you could wear at in Skyhold. And I was like, oh, praise Jesus. I was sick of that damn outfit. So that's much appreciated. And then the golden nug. It's like this little golden nug statue. And I didn't really get what that meant, like how it worked. But I believe after you get to Skyhold, I should have double checked, and I was, but I totally forgot. That golden nug pretty much gives you the look that you have at the end of Inquisition in the beginning, like so that you could look cool and stuff. It pretty much gives you the look early on in Inquisition, something like that. Don't quote me, but it's something having to do with your gear and stuff like that. So that's coming in the next patch. I don't know when the patch is gonna be, but maybe the day that Trespasser is out, which is September 8th. Are you freaking kidding me? So this morning I was like, after I saw the teaser or the trailer, I was like, I need to finish Jaws of Hakon and the Descent. I haven't even started the Descent, and I haven't finished Jaws of Hakon because I'm doing a Let's Play of Jaws of Hakon, and it's taking me so long because I never thought the DLC was gonna be that big. It's so big. I was like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? And I haven't been able to play it because I haven't been able to record. And someone was like, well, why don't you just play it on your own time with a different character and then record? And I'm like, no, because my Let's Plays are better if they're blind, not replays. So when I can't record, I can't play. That's what I've always told you guys. That's one thing that a lot of people don't get. They think it's easy. It's like, well, why don't you freaking beat it? It's like, I can't because I need to record, and I haven't been able to record. So I was like, you know what? I have one more part that I have to edit, which is perfect because it's turning into a 10-parter. But I'm ending the Let's Play there so that I could play on my own time and finally beat Hakon and then beat the the Trespasser. That one's gonna be a Let's Play because I'm like, this is it. This is the last Dragon Age Inquisition DLC. And I'm like, oh my god, like this is it, dude. It's gonna be like with Mass Effect 3, man. I was emotional, like at the end of Citadel. I was like, that's it. Like that's it. They're actually building an epilogue. This actually takes place post game, like after you're done. Like it's not like the other DLCs where you're like, okay, well yeah, after you get to Skyhold, anybody could play it. No, you have to beat the game to play Trespasser. This takes place 2 years after Inquisition, and I'm like, that is so cool. Like that is Dragon Age 2 style right there. Like that is going into the relationships that you had with your characters years later and how that developed and how that is. Like where are they? Like what are you guys doing? You know, I want to know that. I want to see that so bad. So I am super hyped for this. So I was like, this is something that I have to record. I will be talking about the DLCs. I will be talking about Jaws of Hakon once I beat it. I will be doing a video talking about it. And I will be talking about the Descent. Let's talk about the Trespasser. Again, I'm going into this trailer, and I hate feeling this way. That's what made me decide to end the Let's Play, where I'm like, no, I do not like this. That I haven't played the Descent and I haven't beaten Hakon, so I don't know if any of this stuff ties to the trailer where you're like, oh, that's what happened in Descent. But what I do know is that it does tie to the Masked Empire. The book's somewhere around there. So let's watch this. Where should I put it? Alright. So from the get-go, we see the Illuvion, of course, and you're like, what? A freaking Kunari is going through an Illuvion? Like, where is this Kunari coming from? Like, what other Illuvion is this Kunari coming through? So, early on, you know, you're like, oh my god, the Kunari are attacking. And you see the Inquisitor's hand again. You're like, this is after the breach, and it's bothering her. You could see that it's bothering her, and you're just like, what? I thought the breach was closed. So something's going on with what happened in her hand. Like it's still there. This Kunari has a book. It's weird because it's like strapped onto her shoulder. I was like, is this I'm guessing it's the Tome of Kasloon. The Qun, pretty much, their Bible. And that thing, I was like, is that an ogre? But it's not. It's a Kunari. It's a big Kunari. And the most important thing about this Kunari is the shiny stuff, the green stuff around it. But if you look at the green, it's not exactly the same color as the Inquisitors. This is more of a turquoise-ish green. So this Kunari is beefed up. Something's wrong with it because it's got this green stuff on it. It's like evolved. It's like it's not normal. It looks almost like an ogre, but it's a Kunari.
Inquisitor. It's been 2 years since the Inquisition proved itself
that must be an
organization everyone in Thedas could respect.
So this part right here,
Act as if you're the
that's like I guess, you know, what would you call that? Like the council, whatever. The person that it looks like they're in like divine robes or like a mother. I was like, that could be Mother Giselle. But when I was slowing it down, I was like, that looks like Vivienne. If you look closely, it looks like Vivienne. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is a situation where Vivienne is the divine. In my situation, Liliana was a divine. So I'm guessing whoever is divine in your game is going to be in that position. And it makes sense because, you know, they were going to be divine anyways. So I think in this scenario, it's Vivienne.
Before you drag us into another war.
That character right there that's fallen, it looks like they're in Kunari type of armor, but they don't look like a Kunari, so at least a horned one, a Kossith, whatever you want to call them, they're probably a Kunari that is a different race.
That time is over.
So this blew my mind. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? If you look closely here, this is this is like a location like this and another upside down on top. They're they're two locations upside down like this. I was like, if you look closely, you could see the trees on the top, upside down trees. So this is a freaking whacked out area. And the Illuvians, I don't know where they are. Are they even, like, what world are they in? Because this is upside down. And it's giving you this sense of, this is not right. Like, the Illuvians, the network of Illuvians is activated. And the network of Illuvians had been closed because the ancient elves had closed them to prevent invaders from attacking. So the Illuvians have been reactivated, reopened, and that's where I was saying that ties to the Masked Empire, because it's like, Briala? Like, because Briala was the one with the passphrase, the control phrase. Could be Morrigan, because of if she drank from the well from the well, or your Inquisitor. Although I was like, why would your Inquisitor, if Morrigan didn't drink from the well from the well, and it was you, why would you activate the Illuvians? You know, so I don't think it's Morrigan. I was like, this has gotta be Briala. And of course, at the end of the trailer, I will go into that. But so yeah, that's upside down worlds. I was like, and Kunari coming in. Again, another area with more Illuvians. This is giving you the idea that the Illuvians have been reactivated, reopened.
And they're angry. We save Orlais, and they're angry. We closed the breach twice, and my own hand wants to kill me. Could one thing in this fucking world just stay fixed?
Seriously, let's stop for a second and take that in. Dude, that was epic. That, I was like, the first time I heard that, I was like, oh my freaking god. The Inquisitor sounds so pissed. The Inquisitor sounds sick of it. Like, I was like, yes. I've always wanted one of my characters to react like that. I've always wanted one of my characters in these games to say, I am freaking fed up. Like, I am sick of you guys. That's pretty much what she's saying. Where she's like, I freaking saved you guys and you still pissed. I saved you guys and you're pissed. Where she's just like, I'm sick of it. You know, I love that. That was my favorite thing of this trailer. And I was like, we've never had that type of emotion in, I want to say, Mass Effect 3 came close, but in Dragon Age, I don't think so. That type of Hawk in Dragon Age Inquisition came close, but not pissed. He was just tired. At least my Hawk was charismatic Hawk. You know, the good guy. He was tired. Like, he just looked tired. But this is like, she's mad, dude. Like, there's like hashtags already, like mad Quizzy, and I'm like, dude, That was so good. Alex Wilton Regan did such a good job with that voice acting, dude. I was like, it gave me chills when I heard it. I was like, damn, girl. Like, that was, man, standing ovation. That was so good. Oh, and also Blackwall with that armor. I mean, this is post game. I was like, what if he became a warden? You know, I mean, you could put in the game, you could put freaking warden armor on Blackwall, even though he's not a warden. But I don't know, like maybe not. But what if he did? What if he did become a warden? That'd be freaking cool. I love this song, by the way. I want you guys to look at that carefully. Those are not Kunari. Those are slim figures. Now they have like big hammers and stuff like that, but they're slim. They look like elves to me. So I'm gonna go into that later. Define your legacy. That's what Mike Laidlaw was saying, that in this DLC you're gonna be able to really leave your legacy. Like, where are you gonna leave the Inquisition? Where are you gonna leave the Inquisitor? What are you gonna do? You know, this is the end that you leave. I think that book is the Inquisition book. That statue, the statue that moves, looks like a statue of Fen'Harel, and you could see later on another statue of Fen'Harel. These statues of the Kunari in a fight, I'm not sure if this was like these people became stone in those positions, or is this like a grave, or is this like an area that is like a remembrance area, an area that where they're there to remember an occasion or a war. This part right here, I was like, man, I would freaking die if we see Sten. If we freaking see Sten, I'm gonna scream so loud, because I think the person has horns though, so I was like, okay, maybe it's not Sten, but someone in the very top, if you look carefully, is walking away from you, almost like this is the leader. I'm gonna leave you to my henchmen. I'm out. You know, if the Kunari are attacking, this might. I mean, Sten was Arashok. It probably isn't. You know, that's just me hoping that it would be Sten. But the guy, the Kunari that is walking away, does kind of look like he has horns.
I need you. Who's with me?
Okay. Whoosh. The dragon, I kind of slowed it down and I saw that the dragon kind of has the green as well here in the face. I don't know if it's just the color of the dragon, but it looks like it's glowing. So this dragon might be kind of infected, intoxicated with the same stuff that the Kunari are, that green stuff. That guy, dude. I'm so actually, you know, a lot of people joke about like wanting to slap him and hit him and like freaking Solas, but I'm so glad to see him. Dude, that drama's gonna go down. It's gonna be so good. We know that Solas is involved, the Kunari, and I think ancient elves. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's my crazy theory. It's not well developed yet because the trailer just came out today and it's already freaking late. It's probably already midnight. I think those weird glowy people, the ones that I told you where I was like, those guys look slim, they look kind of like elves. I think those are ancient elves. The ending of Dragon Age Inquisition was very much Solas expressing that he wanted to help his people, right? And his people aren't the Dalish, because he doesn't like the Dalish. You know, he feels like they just don't represent what elves are. So his people, I think, are ancient elves. You know, the elves of Arlathan, the elven pantheon even. So I'm thinking what if these elves, I mean, they might even be the like the elven pantheon. Imagine, like, one of them was, I don't know, Mythal, what are the other ones? Ghilannain and Andriel and all that. What if those elves that we see, or those beings, are the elves of the pantheon? That would blow my freaking mind, man. Which makes me think, okay, if these are ancient elves or the elves of the pantheon that were locked away by Fenrir, by Solas, because what Solas did to Flemeth at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition, this DLC is most likely gonna talk about what happened, like what's going on with Mythal, what's going on with Fenrir, what's going on with the rest of the elves. So I'm thinking that this is going to be tied to the ancient elves, the elves of the pantheon, Solas, and him trying to regain that glory of Arlathon. He says you must have questions. So he obviously knows what's going on. And all of a sudden he just returns. Now, how did the Kunari come into play? I have this theory from past things that we've read, from dialogues, from things that the characters would say in the game. I've thought that the Kunari are a really interesting race. I mean, you hear Iron Bull talk about the Kunari and how they breed, and how he says that the Temasrans use like dragon blood or something like that. Now I'm not quoting this because I haven't played the game fully for a while now, so a lot of things are not completely clear, but I remember that Iron Bull was talking about that dragon blood, and also and with the horns, and him saying why he thinks that Kunari have horns and how they look like dragons, and how when he fights a dragon, like, he hears this, it even gets him aroused, and it just gives him this feeling of like lust, and he it's like he hears a song or something. So it's in his blood. It's in every Kunari's blood. And when you're talking about someone, a creature, a being that drinks dragon blood, you're already referring to a reaver. Now, Iron Bull is a reaver by class. By specialization, you're like, okay, well, the game, whatever, you could be a reaver yourself. You don't have to be a Kunari. But that's a reaver. And Cassandra talks about this, that her family would drink dragon's blood in order to be able to take down the dragon, to get more strength and stuff like that, because it would give them more strength and stuff. And even if you think of like Callan had, Alistair's ancestors drank dragon blood, and it made him more powerful, stronger. So those are reavers. And Cassandra, I think it was Cassandra that talked about them getting drunk almost over this blood, that they needed it. They eventually, if they overdosed, they needed it, and some of them even started to grow like scales, and like they started to transform. So I was like, what if Kunari are related or come from this, are basically a group of ancient elves? Like, what if that's where the Kunari came from? Like, what if these ancient elves worshipped dragons? Because if you look at the statue of Mythal, it looks like a dragon. Freaking Flemeth can turn into a dragon, the horns. So I was like, what if these ancient elves started to drink dragon blood as a ritual? They worshipped the dragon, and they pretty much morphed into Kunari. Like, what if they just became these like big things? If you read a codex in the Temple of Mythal, there's an entry of one of the elves from the pantheon, Gillenane, that states that she created monsters that were hunted by Andriel. And I'm like, what kind of monsters? Like, what if those were Kunari? And there's even, I don't remember what it was, if it was a codex or something, but it mentioned horned beings that during the time of the ancient elves. Those of you that have played an elf, a Kunari, all the races. Those of you have played human, elf, Kunari, and dwarf. When you go through the Alluvion with Morrigan, I got an option. I was an elf. I got an option where it said, I feel like she felt something. I remember her saying something about how she felt. And in Masked Empire, it talks about elves feeling different in the crossroads, in that area, over opposed to everyone else. And some people, I was reading some people saying that their Kunari actually had the same option that the elf did in the game, and that other people didn't. Like the human was different. And they were like, what about the dwarf? Nobody was saying what the dwarf said. And I believe a mage has the same option as the elf and the Kunari. Now this is just people talking, and it was just a mesh of ideas in my mind where I'm like, I need to look into this, because it's not very clear, but some people were saying that their Kunari had the same option as the elf, and the human didn't. So I was like, that's weird. Like, why? If this is true, why would the Kunari have the same options as the elf? And I mean, if you look at a Kunari, the body's completely different, but the ears, they still have those pointy ears. So I don't know. I was like, oh my god. And it makes sense for this DLC, because I was like, if those are ancient elves, why would the Kunari be there? If Solas is there at the end and he's behind all this, why would the Kunari be even linked to this? Like, how do the Kunari and the ancient elves even have anything in common? Why is there a link there? I had this crazy theory that what was his name? Felasan? Yeah, Felasan in Masked Empire is Solas. That was my theory. If you haven't seen my theory, I'll try to remember to link it here. Check actually annotations aren't working for some reason on YouTube. I'll put it in the description. It was one of my World of Dragon Age videos. I went into this crazy theory about Felasan being Solas, and that in the end of Masked Empire, Briala is the only one that has the pass phrase or the control phrase to activate the network of Alluvions. And she has the keystone and all that. So in Dragon Age Inquisition, I was trying to remember. I was like, I do not remember any of them talking about it. I don't remember Briala talking about this, about the Alluvions. And I'm like, that was huge. Like, she did not talk about it. So in my playthrough, Briala gets back with Celine and Gaspard is killed. Which I was like, man, I like Gaspard. I kind of like them. I would have wanted to get the option of them, the three of them, like trying to negotiate or whatever. But it's kind of hard to get. You have to like do specific things. So I was like, whatever. I'll just kill him. Off with his head. I think Briala could get killed, doesn't she? You could actually have her killed too or something. It could just be Celine and not Briala with her. But let me know in the comments down below if Briala could be killed. If she could be killed, then I don't know how they would tie this in there. But if she can't, if she doesn't get killed and she's just whatever, she's just like told to leave, then this would work. So I was like, okay, well, if Felasan is Solas, right? I'm not going to go into the whole theory here. If you haven't seen it, go check out my video, because it's a huge, I have to go into this huge explanation. With Corypheus gone, Solas wants to regain that power that his people had. Briala does too. Briala pretty much felt the same way as Solas does. And Felasan was pretty much Briala's master, tutor, whatever, guide, who, whatever you want to call him. She really looked up to Fen'Harel, the Dread Wolf. And Felasan talked a lot about the Dread Wolf. That's why I was like, there's some kind of tie here. Solas talks about Briala in Dragon Age Inquisition, but he's really weird about it. Like, he's like, when you ask him, oh, you've been at court? And he's just like, oh, no. He kind of like tries to throw it off. He's like, oh, just, he's really weird about his answer. And the way he talks about Briala, you're like, where he's like, she could do good for our people, whatever. And you're like, how do you know her or whatever? So I think he's Felasan. And if Briala is out there, this is probably that closure of what's going on with the Illuvians. Like, okay, Briala could freaking activate the Illuvians. Hello, like, that's huge. In the end of Masked Empire, she's gonna tell Felasan the control phrase, and he stops her. He says, no, don't tell me, because he was still gonna go report back to Corypheus. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and explain my theory. Go watch the video if you don't know what I'm talking about. So now that Corypheus is gone, I think Solas is like, I need to find this girl. I need to find Briala, because Briala is the one that knows how to activate the Illuvians, and this is the way to bring my people back. This is the way to make his people rise up again. Because even in Masked Empire, Briala was already organizing the city elves through the Illuvians. So that's what Solas wants. So I was like, oh my god, like, what if now that Corypheus is gone, that's what Solas wants to do? He wants to reactivate the Illuvians once again and like bring his people back or whatever. And what if that's these ancient elves, or the elves of the Pantheon, and they're using the Kunari as a force? The ancient elves in the Temple of Mythal. Oh my god, what's his name? I forgot his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The ancient elf, and he said that his people killed each other. So I was like, what if they used, or what if these Kunari, these elves, these evolved elves, that had overdosed on dragon blood, what if they were like this fighting force? Like, what if, like, what if the Kunari helped destroy themselves, easier? Like, what if within themselves, that's the Kunari, these elves, helped destroy each other, because the Kunari are strong and they're very military oriented. And if it wasn't, in Solas, when he talks about the Kunari, he's like, they're savages. He says they're savages, but he tells the Inquisitor, you show like a wisdom that I've never seen in your people. So even Solas already knows about something else about the Kunari. What if Solas went and looked for Briala, found her? I don't know if maybe he told her, I'm Felasan or whatever. Or what if Solas appeared to her as Felasan, got that key phrase, used her, I don't know, to activate the Illuvians, because she was gonna tell him the control phrase anyways. And he said no, because he was going to go see Corypheus, and he's like, no, Corypheus is going to get a hold of this phrase if I tell him, if she tells me. So now with Corypheus gone, he's like, now it's the time. Like, now I need to know what it is. And the passphrase anyways was the Dreadwolf blessing. So I'm guessing that these ancient elves, these beings that you see in the trailer, are using the Kunari as a force to bring the world back to Arlathan, to bring Arlathon. It's in the concept art, it says Arlathon will rise again. Like Arlathon will, it was just lost. Like it will come back. And I think that this is it. Like this is the elves, Solas, whoever you want to, the ancient elves, the elves of the Pantheon, wanting to bring Arlathon back. This is just a freaking crazy speculation theory, like one of the ones that I usually make where I'm just like, that I start thinking, overthinking in like a few hours, and I'm like, maybe this is just a group of Kunari that the elves are using as a force, as, you know, maybe the ones that really want to invade, because not all the Kunari want to invade. I mean, you learn that from Iron Bull, where Iron Bull's like, you know, if you see like, he's like, if we were in war, you would know, or something like that, you know, like saying, we're not in war right now, trust me, like if we were in war, you would know. So maybe it's just a group, like a rogue group of Kunari, or like, you know, these extremists. It kind of makes sense where you're like, okay, well, if the Kunari were a cult of these elves, ancient elves that drank too much dragon blood and they started to deform, like Cassandra says, that they would even grow horns and stuff, become stronger. What if the Kunari that are like all beefed up in that green stuff, if you look at the color, it's the same color as the beings. That green, that turquoise thing, it's the same color as the beings. So what if these beings are giving the Kunari more of that, you know, that beefiness, you know, and that's why you see this big, huge Kunari. Like, it's like, we're gonna push you even further. We're gonna make you even more like ogreish, you know, push you more towards the evolution that you never reached, type of thing. And then we do see a dragon in it, and I don't know if that dragon is also like possessed or whatever, but we do see that dragons are involved. Dragons, Kunari, some weird ancient being glowy thing that I think are ancient elves, Solas, and the Illuvians. I was like, dude, those things are so far. When I saw Kunari go through an Illuvian, I was like, wait, what? Kunari do not invade through elven artifacts. Kunari invade through ships. They've been doing this for years. Like, are you kidding me? A freaking Illuvian? I was like, there's got to be some kind of like unity here. The elves must have gone to the Kunari. The Kunari must have found, I don't know. But Solas, that little fool, was involved. I'm pretty sure he was like, man, let's get this going. Like, we need some strength. We need some muscle. We need to we need to like hit hard in order to make this happen. And Solas, we know, is willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because he even gets mad at Varric in banters where he's like, why aren't you doing anything? When you know you could do something, like, even if you could do something, you are not doing anything. You're that fisherman, you know, that fisherman that would just sit there and do nothing. You need to do something for your people. Do something about it and fix it. So you know that Solas is prepared to do whatever it takes to bring his people back, to make things right, to bring things back to Arlathon, to the time of Arlathon, to make the ancient elves rise again. That's what he wants. Like, what he did at the end of Dragon Age Inquisition was, I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as saying that Solas is a villain, but what he did was not very good. I mean, I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you freaking you mummified Flemeth. And what happened to Mythal? Like, did he take in a piece of Mythal? My theory was also that he probably took a piece of Mythal, but Flemeth let a piece of Mythal go through the Illuvian as well. I don't know. Maybe if Briala has nothing to do with this, what if Flemeth was like activating the Illuvians at the end where she's like going like this? I don't know, but it has to do with Solas. I know that for sure. What is going on here has to do with Solas. It ties to the ancient elves, and they're using the Kunari as a force, I think. So yeah, I think we're gonna find out that the Kunari are related, or they come way back then. They're actually like ancient elves. That would be freaking crazy. I mean, it is a freaking crazy theory, but I mean, I was like, how else would you explain this? Like, it's just so, it's so unrelated that you're just like, there's gotta be something here. There's gotta be a tie. And that tie, I think, is dragons. Like, the dragon. The dragon is the tie. The dragon blood, we know for sure, does change you. If you drink too much, Cassandra says it's not good. It becomes something that you need, that you lust for. And Iron Bull explains this as well. What he feels when he's going up against a dragon. It's not just like, oh yeah, Iron Bull loves fighting dragons. No, it's something more than that. It's blood. Like, it's something in his blood that yearns for it. Along those lines, I think it would be really cool. It sounds crazy to think that Kunari are related to elves, but if you think about it, if you really think about what an elf would look like if it was all beefed up on dragon's blood, I would imagine a Kunari. And some of them don't get horns, you know. There are Kunari without horns, obviously. I think it goes down to how much dragon blood. Probably because the Tamasurans do breed for specific stuff. I guess it depends on how much dragon blood they give the baby, how much dragon blood is in their lineage. I mean, I would love to see Sten because he is the Arashok, but I feel like he wouldn't be. He wouldn't support this. So that's why I was like, I think this is probably like some kind of cult of Kunari, because they do look like they have specific markings. What are they called? They're not tattoos. There's something else. It's kind of like the Valasleen. See, I was like, that's very similar too. So that's why I feel like Sten, if he's still the Arashok, I feel like he wouldn't agree with this, because it doesn't really go with the Kyun. Especially if they're following, if they're following ancient elves or the elves of the pantheon or whatever, you know, it just doesn't go with the Kyun. Yeah, that's my freaking crazy theory. Let me know in the comments down below, because I am really curious to know about the Inquisitor going through that Illuvion. It depends on what you say, but my Inquisitor said something about her feeling something there. So that's pretty much it. I have to go to bed because it's gonna be 12:30, and look at my freaking my screen. It's my home dog. Look at him. He looks like a homie. He's all, "Sup, yo." I'll talk to you guys later.